right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, explosion taking out a St. Charles home with 5 people inside.
Another weather first weather alert for Tuesday evening as another round of storms is expected to develop across our area. The weather threats we may have to deal with by tomorrow night.
But first tonight, sheets of rain, pounding hail, and a family uprooted.
I heard a big boom, and then I heard my mom and my dad screaming. Both of them screaming.
The damage left behind in southern Illinois.
We begin tonight with more on those severe storms. It destroyed a family's home, uprooted trees, and left lots of people in the Metro East in the dark. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. One of the hardest hit areas is in West Granite City, and that's where Robert Townsend is live with the latest tonight. Robert.
Mike and Ann, the storm definitely slammed this neighborhood. Take a look. This is the big tree everybody is talking about. It fell on the Bueller family's home, sending the couple to the hospital and their son running to their rescue.
It was scary.
66-year-old Adolph Bueller says the summer storm was fast, furious, and frightening.
Yeah, it kept falling, and after figuring out what fell and what hit, I'm just glad nothing bigger hit me in the head.
Around 4 Monday afternoon, Bueller and his wife were sitting in their living room at their home on Logan Street in Granite City when a severe storm uprooted this huge tree. The massive tree crushed the family's front fence and smashed through their roof.
One good gust of wind, it blew it down.
Reynolds says their small china cabinet fell on his dad's legs, trapping him in his favorite chair.
I heard a big boom, and then I heard my mom and my dad screaming.
Dad suffered cuts on his hand and chest. His mom suffered scratches on her face. Paramedics rushed the couple to a hospital.
It's still kind of hurting now. That's what scares me, is the pacemaker still hurting. And
What's more, while I was interviewing Trenton Reynolds about the scare of their lives, the concrete sidewalk we were standing on suddenly dropped. A block away on Missouri Avenue, we saw a long trail of more uprooted and snapped trees, fallen limbs, and scattered debris from the storm.
I think that's really serious.
Danny Dawson says this decades-old tree outside his home toppled amid torrential rain and whipping winds.
I'm lucky I have insurance.
Was it the scariest thing of your life?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Now, Bueller's wife was also treated and released from the hospital. The family is now staying with their relatives. Tonight, about 1,500 people here in the Madison County area are still in the dark. We're live in Granite City. I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
More than 5,000 Ameren, Missouri customers are still without power. This afternoon, storms also pummeled the region with hail, from pea-sized hail in Florissant to this golf ball-sized hail in Belleville. And it was the same story in Madison, Illinois. Seems like just about every afternoon we're getting hit with some kind of wild weather. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, don't you just long for the days of a quiet thunderstorm where you can sit out on the porch with a glass of iced tea and watch it go by without all the drama. So hail today and those strong winds. Look at the size of this hail. This from Blackjack. Jokel sent this to us on Twitter, and I mean, we're talking golf ball size or larger. Some places reported 2-inch hail. There was a spot up in Florissant that had 2-inch hail out of this. There's not much left tonight. We've had the ground clutter around St. Louis. There may be a stray shower or two, but most of it off to the east and northeast of us, and the severe weather threat is over for the St. Louis area. By the way, just got an update here on some of these power outages a few minutes ago from Ameren. Madison County, Illinois leading the way with over 1,400 outages. Jefferson County, they bumped up tonight down in Jeffco, 764 your number there, but great improvement in St. Louis County as we're now down to less than 1,000 customers without power. So as we look over at the ballpark this evening, there might be a random rumble of thunder overnight, nothing severe. Better storm chances, though, heading into tomorrow and tomorrow night. Hail, wind, and we'll add a flood threat in there for tomorrow night. And more on that in a few minutes.
You can get the Weather First forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We'll send you a link.
We turn now to a developing story out of St. Charles. 2 adults and 2 children are still in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a house explosion earlier this morning. Another person was released from the hospital. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live from the St. Charles Fire Department, and Laura reports Those crews were on scene for hours. Laura.
Yes, they were, Mike, and they're still investigating exactly what happened at this St. Charles home around 11:30 this morning. Spire gas crews are also looking into that cause.
Neighbors on Transit Street were having a pretty average Monday morning.
I was on the phone with the city because I'm putting up a fence, and I had to disconnect that call and call 911.
Until the whole neighborhood shook in an instant.
I just heard this massive boom, kind of like a firework in a way, and I look outside and the house is just kind of like that, kind of went out on the bottom.
Scaring everyone on the block out of their homes.
It turns your stomach. It's just horrible. I mean, you hear a big explosion. If you look at that house, you can tell it exploded. You know, the walls are out of place and that, but it's scary.
Ring doorbell video shows several victims running out of the house at the end of the street toward the neighbor's yard.
They were burned up a little bit, but for the most part of it, everybody got out safe.
From there, the victims watched as their house they just moved into a month ago went up in flames.
So I got them water, whatever they needed. They had 2 little babies, so I was consoling them, and I was just trying to help any way I could.
First responders took all 5 victims to the hospital.
We hope that all the victims survive. Some did seem to have severe burns.
One of the neighbors says a victim told them they were trying to light a candle when the explosion happened.
We have fire investigators on the scene. They've already began their work, and we're going to work this until we figure out what occurred.
Investigators along with Spire crews worked in the area long after firefighters left, but are still looking for answers.
We're monitoring the atmosphere. We're monitoring all the conditions.
We're told the gas was shut off near that home, and there isn't any danger to any of the surrounding homes as they continue to investigate. Reporting live in St. Charles, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
A former Northwoods police officer is charged with kidnapping and assault. Police arrested Samuel Davis in North Carolina over the weekend. According to court documents, Davis took a man into custody on the 4th of July, turned off his body cam, and drove him to a remote area of Kinloch without telling dispatchers. He then pepper sprayed the man and repeatedly beat him with a baton and left him there. The man suffered serious injuries, including a broken jaw. A woman who saw what was happening called 911, took a picture of the victim, and posted it to social media.
She's the hero. She had the foresight to understand that something was amiss and to stop and get this person help. So her social media post kind of pushed everything forward, and people started asking what was going on.
The Northwoods police chief says Davis is no longer with the department, releasing this statement saying, quote, "Words can barely begin to express the disappointment and the failure of what appears to be a reckless disregard for the humane treatment of others and the solemn duties of a law enforcement officer." The Ethical Society of Police also released a statement a few hours ago. It reads, in part, quote, "The allegations against this officer are horrific. We are encouraged by St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell's strong stance and hope the victim gets justice," end quote.
A 3-year-old boy is dead after drowning in Lake St. Louis over the weekend. Investigators say it happened on Saturday night. Police believe it was an accident, and they do not suspect foul play, and they have not released the boy's name.
Drivers tell our I-Team a 2-mile stretch of road in St. Clair County, Illinois is a big inconvenience, causing major delays and leaving tens of thousands of people beyond frustrated.
It's an $8 million project on the Frank Scott Parkway. Senior investigative reporter Paula Vassan got answers from an engineer overseeing the project about a timeline and when drivers can expect a fix.
Seems more and more people want to live here in St. Clair County, Illinois, which is bringing more drivers and more congestion. So much more that this 2-mile stretch of Frank Scott Parkway in Shiloh and O'Fallon is being widened from 2 lanes to 5. Problem is, for the last month, drivers tell us no one has been working on it, and a large portion is still closed to traffic.
There's no trucks, there's no construction. It's just all blocked off.
Matt Howard wants to know why, especially because he says the new lanes look done.
Our kids go to the orthodontist right there in the middle of it. It's a pain in the butt.
He expects his kids to be out of braces before the road is even open. For others, it's more than just an inconvenience.
an actual emergency vehicle, an ambulance, had its lights going and was trying to get past, and nobody could get around the cones to get off to the right side of the road.
And drivers here in St. Clair County certainly feel the strain.
About 16,000 drivers pass through here every day, but people tell us no one is telling them what's going on. So we went directly to someone in charge. So people want to know, what's the timeline?
I can't give you a date, but I can tell you it's a lot farther than it was. There's an issue with the concrete right now that we're trying to resolve.
An issue, he says, with some of the pavement poured by Baxmeyer Construction in Waterloo. The problem, 1,400 feet of road is missing reinforcements to make the pavement stronger. Pavement that will need to be removed and replaced.
Is it unsafe?
We're not going to open it up to traffic.
Baxmeyer Construction told us in an email, nothing to discuss. We are 12 months ahead of schedule.
People in the area are concerned and frustrated. What's your response to them?
I understand their frustration. We appreciate all of their patience so far, and I just ask them to be patient a little bit longer so we can work through this issue.
Just days after we started asking questions, drivers here told us they finally started seeing work here done again. Crews are ripping out parts of concrete, and the plan is to replace it. We also kept pressing for a timeline. The county engineer tells us he's hopeful work will be done within the next few months. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
If you have a tip for Paula and the 5 on your side I-Team, you can leave a voice message at this number, 314-444-5231, or you can email Paula at tips@kstk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Coming up, when it comes to taking your pup for a swim, not all dogs are created equal.
You would think the doggy paddle will come innately, but some dogs, it doesn't click.
Our Verified team breaks it down by breed. Plus, a cornfield now a crime scene. The rogue crop circles caused by vandals.
And most of our area farm fields have seen some rain recently, but many need more. The problem is it may be too much too fast, as heavy rain is possible in some areas by Tuesday night.
A little boy killed during a storm earlier this month would have turned 6 years old tomorrow. Robert Lawrence died when a tree fell on his home in Jennings. Friends and family called him RJ. Today they released blue and white balloons in his honor. Blue was RJ's favorite color. They also passed out cupcakes and sang happy birthday.
A lot of times when tragedies happen, especially when you lose someone, a lot of times people come like in the beginning and then they kind of drizzle off, and it's just like to show that at the end of the day, like, we're family, we're a community, and we're going to be here forever.
A GoFundMe has raised more than $18,000. The money helped pay for his funeral. The rest is going to housing. Right now his family is living in a hotel.
A deadly Greyhound bus crash near Highland, Illinois is highlighting safety concerns for semi-drivers. 3 men died and several others, including the bus driver, were seriously hurt last week when the bus slammed into trucks parked along a rest area exit ramp on Interstate 70. Our I-Team found the bus had a good safety record, and this bus line has a low crash rate. Long-distance truckers say, though, overcrowded rest areas are the bigger issue. Many can't find a safe place to sleep.
The government got to put more parking spots. That's it. That's all it is. More parking spots. If you don't, you get more and more trucks, and you ain't got enough parking. So it's bound you're gonna get crashes and stuff like that.
As for the cause of this crash, NTSB investigators are expected to complete their on-scene work by the end of the week and release a preliminary report in 2 to 3 weeks. Vandals did some serious damage to a cornfield in Montgomery County, Missouri. Someone carved out circles, destroying an estimated $6,000 worth of corn. This happened off Highway AA near Red Barn Road in Wellsville. Deputies are still searching for the person or persons responsible.
Summertime is about making a splash, and sometimes that means bringing your dogs along. Tonight we verify, is swimming safe for dogs? Abby Larico turned to these sources to verify.
How do very good pups get through very hot days? Sometimes with a splash.
It can be great exercise. It can be a good way for them to cool off as well. But there are definitely some dangers that go along with it.
Our pet experts agree swimming is a great activity for dogs who can swim.
You would think the doggy paddle will come innately, but some dogs, it doesn't click.
The American Kennel Club says short-legged or long-bodied dogs tend to struggle in the water, but even those bred for swimming prowess should be introduced to the water with care. The ASPCA warns to never throw or force a dog into the water, but guide them gently. Dogs can learn to swim.
And it may take a few tries of just holding your arms underneath them until they start to actually get that paddle.
Well-fitting floaties can give a dog some confidence. Life jackets are always recommended on motorboats. They may be furry, but water can be too cold for pets. Get out and get dry if they are shivering or if their tail goes limp. Provide pets with plenty of fresh drinking water to deter them from sipping where they swim.
Salt water can definitely be life-threatening. If they ingest enough of it, it would cause pretty rapid dehydration.
Currents in the ocean and rivers can be dangerous for pets and people. Chlorine in pools is safe, but AKC recommends a post-swim ear toweling to prevent dampness and infections. Ponds and lakes can carry harmful blue-green algae or leptospirosis. If they're acting at all abnormally after a swim trip, contact your vet immediately.
You know your pets better, and so if they seem off, then that's enough for me to investigate.
Our dogs are like family, so supervise them around water like family and keep swim sessions short. The AKC recommends taking breaks every 10 minutes to keep them from wearing themselves out. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Is there something you'd like us to verify? You can send an email to verify@kstk.com.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast. And Scott, we can't seem to break this pattern.
You know, we are in this pretty unsettled pattern with periodic storms, and there's another round heading our way tomorrow, taking us into tomorrow night. Maybe by Thursday into Friday, we'll shift into something different. There's the storm coming into Worldwide Technology Raceway, the gusty winds, some hail with that. Most of the hail was just north of the racetrack and then over North St. Louis County. This set in from Dolores. She shared this with us on our 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers face group. And, you know, we appreciate all of our weather watchers sharing the storm reports. These are some from the National Weather Service. Up to 2-inch size hail. That's pretty large here. Going from North St. Louis County, 1-inch hail up in Godfrey. You have the 2-inch hail down around Belleville too, although more areas around the Belleville area reported that 1-inch hail. Florissant, 2 inches. That was off Twitter. 2:44 this afternoon. What's left of showers and thunderstorms, a few over the farm fields, over into Montgomery and Fayette counties in Illinois, sliding over into Clay County. That should stay well to the north and east. Not much else going on around our area right now. Not to say that there won't be a couple of isolated showers or rumbles of thunder overnight. Really, the attention now shifting farther north and west of us. This complex coming across South Dakota and Nebraska, that's going to evolve through the night, and that will bring us some active weather going into tomorrow, potentially some severe weather. 78 degrees right now, feels like it's 80, that dew point's in the mid-60s. 90 was our high, no measurable rain at Lambert today, but a trace in the rain gauge. 90 and 70 for the average temperatures, 90 and 71, so pretty close, and not much of a breeze out there right now. Overnight, we'll drop back into the upper 60s, close to 70 in town. A spot shower or an isolated storm, but again, not much happening overnight. Won't be surprised later tonight and towards tomorrow morning if there's a couple of little sprinkles early up to our north and northwest. But here's that complex of storms. Now, the area where it's actually placed tomorrow, that may be a little farther north, maybe a little farther south, that may be a little stronger than what we're showing here, or maybe it's a little bit weaker. Either way, towards the late morning, early afternoon, we have the chance of showers and storms. We'll keep that chance going into the afternoon and evening. And then our focus, really, as we head into late tomorrow night, is going to set up pretty close to St. Louis, an area where we start to see showers and thunderstorms develop, and then they move over the same locations over and over, and each of them capable of producing some very heavy rainfall, in addition to perhaps a severe weather threat. So we've got more active weather to go into here, your Tuesday and Tuesday night. It will be another weather alert day. Hail and wind threat, more than one wave of showers and thunderstorms, and heavy rain and a night flood threat going into tomorrow night. There's your severe weather outlook again. We're right in the middle of it, but this is interesting. The excessive rainfall outlook for the Weather Prediction Center has a 40% chance of flash flooding. That's a moderate risk there, stretching from St. Louis across into southern portions of Illinois, going into tomorrow night very early Wednesday morning. So we'll keep that weather alert going, keep tracking that. Wednesday and Thursday, we do get hotter. We'll have the humidity, but the odds of storms start to decrease. And by Friday into the weekend, how about this? Could we possibly, and we're not going to guarantee it because, you know, we don't do that with St. Louis weather, but we could actually have a dry weekend.
Yay!
That would be a nice
We won't hold our
switch.
breath, though.
No.
It is only Monday. All right, Scott, thanks. Frank, what's coming up?
Got a lot going on. Mizzou at the SEC, Mo on the future of the Cardinals, Schumacher on his Cardinal past, and it's pickleball, baby.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
I don't know why we get excited about a Monday night win against the Marlins. I mean, this season is more dead than my jump shot, but we will take it. I watched Nolan Arenado take batting practice today. It was majestic, just like his night tonight. He had 2 hits and 4 RBIs, and the Cardinals go on to win this game 6-4. That's 5 out of 7. All right, Skip Schumacher did a lot of hugging before the game today. The Marlins manager really loved his time in our town. I asked him if there was a connection. Last year he was here. The Cardinals were in first place. He leaves, and they're in last place.
That's not a real question, is it? No, listen, I followed the Cardinals, followed their offseason even when I got this job, and I think when you've been a part of this organization for so long, you know, you build a lot of friendships and relationships here, and so you root for those guys other than the 6 times that you face them.
John Mozeliak's streak of 15 consecutive winning seasons with the Cardinals is in serious jeopardy. What he does in the next 2 weeks before the trade deadline could shape the future of the team. Today, the team made some moves, dumping Genesis Cabrera and acquiring veteran reliever Ryan Tapara. And Tyler O'Neill should be back in left field tomorrow. It's an organization with some incredible Hall of Fame talent like that man, Nolan Arenado. Told you about his batting practice. But they are nowhere close to adding another banner. So the next few weeks loom large. And when Mozeliak looks at the talent he wants to acquire in the future, how narrow of a future are we talking about?
Well, hopefully sooner rather than later. You know, we're not looking just for simply like A-ball depth. You know, if we can find talent that we think can help emerge in 2024, that would be great. 2025, I wouldn't rule that out either, but 2026 seems a long way away.
Today in Nashville, SEC Media Days began. Mizzou was one of the schools who got to speak about their program. And Coach Eli Drinkowitz, an offensive guy, talked about play calling this year.
I do not plan on calling plays. I plan on being involved on the offensive side of the ball just like I am on special teams and on the defensive side of the ball as the CEO of the organization. But hired Kirby Moore, who's got a similar offensive vision and philosophy of I do, a low ego, high output guy who's got a great understanding of the pass game and play action. And
the Missouri Pickleball Club has some of the best players in the world out there today and tomorrow. $40,000 in cash on the line. Check out this 29-year-old Bobby Oshiro. She was a tennis player by trade, but made the move to pickleball 3 years ago and is a top 25 player.
I think the biggest thing that got me into it was that a friend took me out there to play. I played against, you know, the players that were at the park, really good players. But I lost, so I was like, wait, I kind of thought to myself, well, you know what, let me try this again. And that's how I kind of started doing that. I met a lot of great people.
Last night at All-Star Sports Performance, Rainbow for Kids held their annual All-Star Game. These courageous kids have battled cancer, and they are winning. Last night, they really looked good playing the game, and everybody had a great time.
We can't cure cancer, but we can make people have a happy life during that time. And that's really all I'm about, is just hoping that we can improve people's lives, let them be happy, have a great time.
And that is one spectacular organization.
Normalcy is so important in those times.
Frank, thanks.
Coming up is Tonight the Night. Someone finally wins the Powerball jackpot. We'll have the winning numbers next.
Well, we are still waiting to hear if anyone won the $900 million Powerball jackpot. The drawing was about 30 minutes ago. Here are those winning numbers: 5, 8, 9, 17, 41, and the Powerball 21.
What'd you do with your old iPhones? Well, an unopened first-generation iPhone just sold at auction for $190,000. Not bad considering the original price was $600, which was a lot. What makes this one so special? It's 4 gigabytes, which was discontinued after about 2 months because customers preferred the 8 gigabyte version.
Clayton Restaurant Week is underway. 15 restaurants offering special 3-course meals. Prices range from $25 to $100 per person. Restaurant Week will run through Sunday. And for a list of participating restaurants, all you have to do is look for this story in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Tonight, he has Ray Romano. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.